Goodfirms takes pride in helping millions of B2B tech companies find and promote software product and services. What Goodfirms is also proud of is that we are reaching many people through this podcast and therefore spreading knowledge that intrigues the to be entrepreneurs. With this, I welcome you all to the Goodfirms Leaders Roundtable. I'm your host Suhana Bhattacharya, and today we have Arshdeep Singh Walia, business analyst at Fatbit Technologies. To cater to the ever evolving software needs of the 21st century, Fatbit Technologies embraces modern development practices with a methodical approach. Thank you so much, Arshdeep, for joining us today. Anything that you'd like to the introduction, something that I might have missed?
Thank you, Sohana. It's a real pleasure having a discussion. Firstly, thank you for the introduction. Very well explained what we do here at Fatbit Technologies. Just want to add some few points here.
Sure.
Not just we are helping our customers deliver their solutions in the digital space, but rather we are somewhat also concerned about what would be the next generation of solutions that will come into the picture besides what we are doing right now. So what we believe is in the concept of having two eyes and a brain. So how we take care of that is we have two eyes. One is something that we are actually taking care of it right now, being in the moment, wherein we have requirements. We provide business consultation. We have our ready to off the shelf product, and we have marketing strategies that we work. And our next eye, the second eye that we have is for a longer term vision, wherein we are thinking about sustainable development of our solutions, or maybe how would the market evolve after this post COVID. I mean, there was a huge change in the marketing dynamics. So one eye is on the distant future. The second eye is what we are working on right now, right? Wherein, like an agency, we are providing digital solutions to our clients. Right? Now, when both the eyes interpret stuff and send it to our brain, therein we make, I would say, very fine solutions and some ideas on how best we could help our clients in the ever growing IT field, wherein what are the next things that we can do that can actually amplify the operational excellence that we are having right now. What is the next niche that we can target post COVID, something like that. So that is more and all what we do here at Fatbit Technologies.
Okay, that is a very impressive introduction that you just explained. Also, because Fatbit has such a strong presence in the market since 2004, and having dealt with such a large number of e-commerce solutions, we had to talk about one of the most trending topic that is going in the market today, and that is augmented reality in the e-commerce industry. Because e-commerce industry has changed so much since COVID-19, because many businesses are selling their products online, and shopping habits has changed as well. So can you please tell us how far e-commerce has progressed and the future trends of this industry?
Sure. So, firstly, I would like to explain how we are associated, right, as far as the e-commerce, and maybe after that we can discuss the augmented one.
Sure.
Right. So, post COVID, if I were to tell you, the dynamics, like I said, have been drastic different. So, earlier, the conventional methods of e commerce was more or less maybe it could be an order online and get things delivered at your doorstep, or a conventional way in which you go to a store, you select a product, you make a payment, and that you get stuff. Right now, what is happening is the BOPIS technique, which when you buy online to make sure that you don't stand in long queues and everything, and you pick up the product from the store. This is something which is there. On top of that, if I were to tell you specifically about the COVID situation, I would like to use two terminologies here: paying capacity and paying consent. Those are two different terms with very subtle difference. Earlier, whenever in the general market you have a client who can have a good paying capacity, we had the intent, that is paying intent is more or less to generate money through that. I would say the revenue he is trying to make through the investment he just did. Earlier they were on the same page, but right now the paying capacity and paying intent are two drastically different things. Let me explain that with an example. Earlier, if you purchased a very normal scenario, a laptop, your paying intent was to have a machine to do your day-to-day errand. Now in this post-COVID scenario, people are more or less interested in getting some passive income out of their assets, or I can say liabilities that they do own, so that they have some secondary revenue model. Because again, COVID had a huge impact on the service and other industries wherein people went jobless and stuff. So earlier the paying intent was to, I would say, enjoy the leisure, but now the paying intent is to generate passive income from whatever thing we are investing in, right? There our solution comes into picture. We have a solution, your rent. So the solution is made with this idea in mind that whenever any person purchases product or any other thing, we can use our solution as a, I would say, as a ground on which they can create their own rental e-commerce. They sellers can basically have, I mean, not sellers, the general people can upload products that they have owned. Customers would be coming on the solution, renting products, and eventually generating a secondary revenue to the seller, which is his passive income. Right. Now, to understand this whole mindset of paying capacity and paying intent, we had a lot of market research done, how things are moving with respect to various markets. So if you analyze Canadian and US market, they operate a bit different way as compared to the Gulf market, right? So this is, I think, the paradigm shift wherein people are more interested in investing something that will offer a longer return on investment in the monetary side rather than on the leisure side. This is would be our stance when it comes to our solution, your rent.
Okay, and I think the difference that you just mentioned is so on point because people are actually using their liabilities and they are not just making a transaction, they are buying things which are actually really worth it for them.
Right. Absolutely.
Exactly. So, which is the best e-commerce platform in your opinion? And many small businesses are now looking to build their own e-commerce platform, but they somehow can't decide on what critical factors to include in it. So, what critical factors should a small business examine before actually deciding on an e-commerce platform in the first place?
So I think the answer to this question is not something concrete because it is, I think, even not recommended. We also not recommend to our clients just to cherry pick maybe one solution out of the other because it's not that one size fits all. So based upon the different requirements, other solutions differ, right? One solution can be an extremely good solution to a certain set of requirements, whereas the other might absolutely fail in fulfilling those, right? Now, there are a lot of factors when it comes to selecting a solution. Primarily, they are maybe the way payment structure is done. How are we supporting our customers? How are we supporting the tech infrastructure? What is the budget, right? And what are the technicalities that are included? On top of that, the biggest factor that comes into picture is what is the scalable options. Let's say you are planning to host a rental marketplace on your server today, but after 6 months or maybe a year, you are planning to expand it in maybe 4 different countries. Right now, a solution might be good enough to solve your business requirements temporarily, but maybe after a year, it might not be the best fit. So, the way we consult our clients is to understand what is their vision right now and how well they have planned to scale things up. Let's say in case there's a general big brick and mortar store, right, and they want to get things online, so we have a single vendor variant for them. Let's say there is a person who wants to expand his shop so that other renters can also list his products and they are planning to go cross borders in next 6 months or a year. Then we have a multi-vendor variant in which we have different functionalities like multi-currency support, multilingual support. So, based upon the understanding that we get out of a client, his vision, and more or less how he's planning to channelize his revenue, is the best way in which you can select maybe a foreground or a base to your rental solution, and then you can make some bespoke customizations on top.
Exactly, and I think this is a very golden rule for any company or any entrepreneur that been listening to us is actually understand the entire journey that the client is thinking the product will have, right?
Absolutely.
So, moving forward, what are the common challenges companies encounter while developing e-commerce shops? Because, as you mentioned, Fatbit has been providing consulting services as well. So, I'm sure they must be familiar with the common challenges which people face when they come to develop e-commerce shops.
Absolutely. I mean, firstly, I would like to start the discussion with the fact that it is good you have challenges because rest we won't be able to put a benchmark that okay, this is something that should be a bare minimal or this is something that we need to overcome while starting an online business. So I would say there are I can categorize challenges into maybe two parts. First would be the operational challenges that you face, and second is the challenges with regards to the business, right?
Mm.
Now, challenges with regard to the business comes. It's an umbrella for, let's say, you need to figure out what business model you want to have. Are you planning to have a monthly fees, or are you planning to have a one-time fees? And then it could be selecting the right platform again, because if we move with a different, or maybe I would say, I won't say a wrong platform, but maybe a different platform as compared to your needs. So at times you need to make a whole change. That is again a technical debt. And operational challenges comes into picture. Let's say, who would be taking care of the server? How is the server maintenance being kept? How are we taking care of the logistics? Again, because good e-commerce owners knows that logistics is the entire game changer. And
True.
again, how are we making sure that our customers are retained? What are the key steps that, and what are the breakthroughs we are planning, that our repeat affinitive customers are reluctant to purchase things from us? And I think these are some challenges. And at the end of the day, we have some common challenges. Let's say, how are we going to market the product? How are we going to make sure that the target audience is, I mean, as much as target audience that we could target? So these are some common challenges. So to overcome these, what we have done is we conduct interview for our clients, right? Let's say in an interview we'll try to figure out what they want as compared to what they need, because
Mm.
being young entrepreneurs, it is more or less like a wish that they want to come true, and rather than a feasibility check that needs to be done first before making sure that wish could be fulfilled. So we
Mm.
conduct interviews for our clients. As far as team Yorent is concerned, and Fatbit, we conduct interviews and we consult them, that based on our personal experience we think that okay, A B C D would be the right step. And we follow agile methodology, given the fact that in this world of ever changing requirements, and the urgency and importance to respond to changes is something
Mm.
that is a game shifter, I must say, Suhana. So,
Mm.
firstly, conducting interviews helps us understand that what is the need and what is the want, so that we can
Mm.
consult in a better way. And when
Mm.
it comes to taking care of the operational things, I think agile works the best, right? So we have many clients who are working, who we are assisting in an agile model. So these solutions help overcome the challenges that are there.
Right, exactly. So, what are some key points or perhaps a checklist that Fatbit Technologies follows to successfully complete an e-commerce development project?
Sure, Suhana. So, as far as you mentioned a checklist, so ideally we don't are in much of a favor to have a checklist approach. Reason being, every project varies, every requirement varies. So, I agree there are some standard requirements. Checklists are for, I would say, some projects that are sort of templated and they need to be repeated, right?
Hmm.
So, given the variety of projects that Fatbit deals in, so it is, I would say, we have a standard procedure. So, we have standard operating procedure that we follow, because
Hmm.
checklist would be so hard for us, since it is good for projects that are sort of more or less the same. So how
Hmm.
we take care of this is to ensure that everything is in place. So the way we work is, we first, like I said, interview clients and we create BRD, as far as the business requirement document, we call it.
Hmm.
And in that we mention that what does the client actually need as
Hmm.
compared to what the client wants. For
Hmm.
example, in case there's a target niche, let's say, or is there any specific audience that we need to take care? Are we
Hmm.
planning to go live in some specific countries and then expand, right? Is there any business rule that we need to follow? Do we have any compliances? So all that business related stuff is taken care of in the business requirement document.
Hmm.
Now we and the client both, again, like I said, interviews, and we have discussions, and we have SMEs for various departments. We conclude to one business requirement document, and then we narrow down each and every requirement into an SRS, which is a
Hmm.
software requirement specification. Now an
Hmm.
SNS takes care of a requirement and how we are going to do it. So SRS also has some functional requirements, let's say things that are tangible and can be operated, and it has some non-functional requirements also, let's say
Hmm.
security, right,
Hmm.
and maybe performance, right. So once we are at a finer level, at a finer grain, right, then we can proceed down to an FRD, which we call as a functional requirement document, that is very helpful to our software engineers, to our system architects, to our DevOps team, right? To
Mm.
make sure that everyone, the stakeholders, internal and external, the technical leads, the marketing leads are all on the same page. And
Mm.
as far as that, so we don't actually believe in planning too much and executing list. We are precisely on the flip side. So it is all done in an agile approach. We have a certain chunk that we work on, get it approved, right, and get it executed, and we repeat the whole cycle. So we work on very incremental steps that do provide value to our end vision and solution. And then we
Mm.
make sure that, again, we also do not want that the market, say the market window should be kept. Let's say in case you want to launch something this Christmas, we can't afford to plan everything, then execute everything and launch the product post Christmas, right? So we
Mm.
also need to take care of timelines also. So this is
Mm.
how, with documents, with maybe stakeholder discussion interviews, we keep a check that okay, things are delivered on time effectively.
Right, exactly. And as the e-commerce market is growing, there is a severe competition. So staying the best performer in the e-commerce industry is actually difficult and never-ending endeavor. So could you please share your thoughts on how Goodfirms has aided Fatbit Technologies in this journey since 2004?
Sure thing. And I believe that both software development firms and entrepreneurs, a relationship which is built on trust and rather than all the financial goals and requirements is way important and better, I would say. And that goes across the globe, in which good firms can come into picture. So building a relationship with the solution provider and entrepreneurs is what good firm does, and we absolutely trust that. And more or
Mm.
less, as a software critic platform, good firm provides an entrepreneurial ecosystem that software companies require to build new business connections, right? So it is not that it is only half of the side that is also taken care. So both the parties, I think, solution providers and entrepreneurs have a fair play in generating maybe good business relations. Apart from
Mm.
this, a good firm profile adds a very strong branding asset that can be shared with our clients as a portfolio or a reference, which again builds trust.
Right, exactly. So, thank you so much, Arshdeep, for joining us on this podcast today. Thank you for giving in your time, and I'm sure your knowledge will help many entrepreneurs who are willing to join this e commerce business.
Thank you so much, Suhana, and I wish the same that we love to collaborate with other entrepreneurs. And collaboration opens new doors for new ideas, and also we
Hmm.
tend to understand what the other side of the story is, rather
Hmm.
than making decisions on our assumptions. So I
Hmm.
think yes, I would absolutely agree with your thought that
Hmm. Exactly.
yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, Arshdeep, and I hope you have a nice day.
Thank you, Suhana. Pleasure's all mine.